Hi everyone, my name is Melody Martin, and my report is on one of the great giants, Thomas Jefferson. I love Thomas Jefferson. When we lived in Virginia, I was able to go and visit his home 2 times. It is a beautiful southern plantation where the lands are still farmed today. Jefferson was a student of the arts, science, history, politics, and philosophy. He loved to read and is known to leave the company of good friends for a book. He was tall, 6'2", thin, red-haired, and freckled. He was considered a very handsome man. He was accomplished on the violin. He loved to ride his horses. He enjoyed ballroom dancing, and he knew several languages. But most of all, he loved to learn. He graduated young at the age of 16 from the College of William and Mary, where he then went on to learn the law. He is known to spend some 15 hours a day in study. Jefferson was a brilliant man. He read, studied, and was greatly influenced by the great philosophers of the Enlightenment period of the 16th and 17th centuries. His opinions were formed by the likes of John Locke, who believed men were born with natural rights of life, liberty, and property. He also read the works of Montesquieu, who was a Frenchman who went to England and was so impressed by the Parliament and how they ran their government, he came back and wrote his works on the importance of the separation of powers. And then Rousseau, who wrote and inspired the French Revolution when he penned Liberty, Equality, and Brotherhood. All of these, plus Plato and Aristotle, helped him form the words when he wrote the Declaration of Independence, notably one of the greatest documents in our nation's history and one of his greatest accomplishments. He was also, in time, the ambassador to France, and because he spoke fluent French, and he became the 3rd president of the United States. A little less known about him is his love for and desire for free public education. Up to now, education was run by the churches, and he felt that they were very biased and restrictive. Jefferson believed strongly in the separation of church and state. He wanted an education where you could learn reading, writing, arithmetic, history, and science, free from the influence of religion. His plan was to establish a state-run and paid-for public school system, free to all free-born children in Virginia. He believed that children aged 8 to 16 were the best age for them to learn, to absorb languages, to memorize work, and to retain knowledge. Children not educated at those ages, he said, become lethargic and useless to society. His plan included, after 3 years of educating, if you excelled and were poor, you would be allowed to continue free education and higher education. If you were rich and wanted to continue, then your parents would have to pay for you. His hope was to avail the state of those talents which would be useful through that education. Though Jefferson's vision for free public education was never realized in his life, he was able to have some successes. He was able to convince Congress to establish our first military Academy at West Point, and it became possible on July 4th, 1802. He also, after his presidency, established the University of Virginia, where he stressed the natural sciences and trained those for the law and medicine. But all is not lost, because today 90% of all children in the United States attend free public schools, where formal religious indoctrination is prohibited. Jefferson has become a symbol for free public education. Jefferson was a great self-learner. He penned the Declaration of Independence and was a great advocate for public education. Jefferson believed teaching, not education, must be the focus, because great teaching inspires students to educate themselves. Thanks for listening.